What's up, believers? Welcome to Make Us Believe podcast, a wrestling podcast by fans for fans. I'm one of your hosts, Michael.
And I'm your other host, John.
All right, and today we are coming to you with kind of a hopefully not so truncated episode, but we are a little pressed for timing on this one, unfortunately. So bear with us if we seem like we're, going quick and pushing it a little bit. Yeah, there was a lot that happened that we were out for. We had Clash in Italy, we had Saturday Night Main Events, and we had a couple of weeks of Raw and SmackDown that happened. So yeah, let's get right into it. John, how are you feeling about the current product?
You know what? Honestly, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I saw on the social medias that Clash of Italy got a little negative backlash. I personally thought it was fine. I don't typically think the Clash pay-per-views are supposed to be groundbreaking, but it was all right. I had no issue with it. And then the Raw and SmackDowns have been keeping me interested. I'm not saying that I'm blown away by anything or that anything is super piquing my interest at the moment, but everything is good enough to where I'm not mad. I'm not sure where you want to start on this. Like I said, we both had unusually busy schedules lately, so we've missed the last few weeks on catching up with some of this stuff. But where do you want to start? There's been a chunk of stuff that's happened since the last time. I got a few topics I want to touch on, but if you have a progression you want to go, and I'm down for the flow.
I mean, there's some stuff that came up, but really, we've missed so much that it's kind of just like touch and go, right? Like we just kind of pick on the big stuff. I mean, the big stuff we got to talk about, I feel like, is the King and Queen of the Ring for sure.
Yeah.
To echo your what you put out there about the Clash pay-per-view or PLE, sorry, that's an old habit that's not going to die hard, or that's going to die hard, guys. I'm sorry. It was, yeah, I agree. It wasn't groundbreaking, but it was okay. And I mean, let's all be honest though, that Italy crowd was freaking wild.
Oh yeah, they were great.
The crowd was great. Yeah, outside of that, I feel like it went fine. Like there was some stuff that was just kind of like, but yeah, overall disappointed. And like you said, Raw and SmackDown have been keeping the stories going pretty well going forward. I think the next one is going to be Clash of Champions in Saudi. And then after that, it's straight on to SummerSlam, right?
Yeah. I'm excited. The only thing I'll say to me is absolutely bitch-worthy is I hate that Liv Morgan is in the Queen of the Ring tournament, because she hasn't been defending it. I don't know if she's defended it once, and this is kind of just a continuation of like what Jade did with the title. Like I need to see, and I know they're different titles, but I need to see. I don't know. I want to see these titles being defended. She's not going to be defending it apparently until SummerSlam at this point, and this is a little bit of a personal gripe, but I'm a big fan of the / Queen of the Ring tournament being for up-and-comers. In a perfect world, if you're a former world champion in any sense, you shouldn't be in that tournament to me. So having the reigning champion in it is silly to me. It's even worse than when Brock entered the Royal Rumble when he was champion, which I thought was stupid. But I think this is more stupid. Because the Royal Rumble is basically for everybody except champions. Yeah. So I don't like that Liv's in it. I don't like that she's not defending the title, but she's still having matches. I hate everything about it. Unless they have some really wild thing, like a real ace up their sleeve, which I couldn't imagine what it could be. I don't like it. That's my biggest gripe. And I'll say, not that we called for this, but I'd say my biggest whoop-de-doo is we got our Brock Lesnar back. Who saw that coming?
opinions on this. Like, you don't retire
I know you do.
and then come back, right? Like, it's nothing against Brock. It's just like you don't. It would be like Cena coming back and had just deciding, oh, I'm gonna strike up a feud with, with Dirty Dom. Like, for why? For like, you're retired, dude. You have not. You're absolutely going in the Hall of Fame. There's nothing to prove here. You already put Oba over. What was the point of coming back to derail that momentum? Like, I don't understand. So now Oba's in two separate storylines, which makes no sense at all because he has Brock on the back end where he has to do the rubber match, which there's zero reason for him to lose a rubber match against Brock. I mean, there was zero reason for Brock to come back, but why would Oba lose the rubber match against them? Like, all that does is boost Brock's ego, right? It
Yeah.
didn't make any sense to me to have Brock come back, and not only that, but to beat Oba Femi. Like, it made no sense at all.
So I agree with some of what you're saying. Go ahead, finish up.
Yeah, like taking 7 F5s to put him down, that's crazy. Like, that didn't happen to Big Show, like, but what was the purpose of it? What did it serve storyline wise other than to say, oh yeah, by the way, Brock's still here? Like, it was dumb. Creatively, it was dumb in my opinion. I don't know, and it stands out to just be like, well, now he's gonna lose to Oba when they inevitably meet up again. So it's kind of a waste to me. I wholeheartedly agree with you with the Liv stuff. Not only that, but like, why is she advancing in the tournament? Like, if she was in the tournament, it'd be one thing, but why is she advancing in the tournament? Is my thing.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing I could see is if they're pushing a storyline where they're gonna put her and Raquel in the finals and kind of do a breaking up the Judgment Day kind of thing, But that sucks because you had Chelsea Green in there, which that match was great. All four of those women put together that was a really good match, and Chelsea had that, and I was so excited until that happened. And I was just like, I was pissed. I was pissed. I was like, finally, they're giving Chelsea some love, but no. And I don't know where else this goes. Like, what are they going to put, like, Jade up against Morgan? Like, in the finals. Like, I don't. Looking at the bracket right now, we have I don't know who goes through. I really don't. To face Liv in the finals, essentially.
Yeah. So my quick thoughts on both of these, just to elaborate a little bit. I mean, I'm with you. I would have voted 100 times out of 100 for Chelsea to win this tournament. I think she's the best candidate for it. Like, she's got Queen of the Ring written all over her. And she'd do so well working that into her gimmick. I don't know. To me, Chelsea Green is like the perfect candidate for a Queen of the Ring. But since we're not doing that, obviously, I do expect whenever they meet, which I would guess would probably be before the finals, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look again. But I think that Raquel does win this tournament now, and I'm trying not to get like too surefire on it because I've been wrong about Raquel predictions pretty hard the last 6 months. So I don't want to say anything too loud, but I do feel like if I had to guess, she's going to win this tournament, and then she'll beat Liv for the title at SummerSlam. And then, yeah, obviously that causes a ton of tension because Liv has become the leader of Judgment Day, and being a champion is a big part of her identity. So that's going to cause some issues. Probably inevitably lead to their breakup. And then going back to Brock, I'll say this, and I've made no secrets about it. I'm a big Brock fan. I love Brock. I'm happy he's back, but I will say I don't like that they did that retirement angle. I know they've done this a couple times. They don't do it too often. They did it with Mark Henry. They did it with, who else did they do it with? Was it AJ? Yeah, it was AJ. And then now they're doing it with Brock. Those are the only three I could think of. But this one, this retirement felt more real than the other ones, and I just don't like. There's the show is largely kayfabe as it should be, but every now and then you'll get a real moment in a kayfabe show, and it's special. And I think by doing this, they've kind of, I don't know, they've made the real moments that are special now questionable whenever they're going to happen. And I don't like that aspect of it. Now,
Yeah.
I would have rather them been like, maybe after the match, Brock's like, I don't know where I go from here. I couldn't do anything in that match. I think it might be time to step away. Say something like that where it's still a little ominous, and then you could do the same thing, and I think it's the same way. Except, you don't have you don't leave the bad taste in my mouth. I would have much preferred that. But otherwise, I'm okay with it because I do think that him coming back, beating Oba, is I think in the long haul with the trilogy that's inevitably coming is going to be Oba's going to win the trilogy. He's going to officially retire Brock, and then he's automatically a big superstar. Like there's no turning back from that. Like he has to be a massive star after winning a trilogy against Brock. Now I don't know what that means for King of the Ring. I don't know if Brock screws him over on this or what happens with that stuff, but. Yeah, I mean, overall, I liked it. I think that it's good. I think that it's going to build a good story. I think it's going to elevate Oba, which is a good thing because they've botched some. They have properly botched some, I guess, building of stars recently. Like, and you could argue that Oba is falling into this, but I disagree. But Braun Breaker, who felt like a huge deal. What, a month, 2 months ago, feels like he's slipping back into like hard mid card. So you just never know how they're going to execute these things, what direction they're going to go. But those are a couple pennies on those two issues. I guess one more thing that I kind of have an issue with, and this is a light gripe. I know I just said I'm happy and now I'm bitching about stuff. I think this is the last thing that I've noted that I didn't love. And it's still working out, so it's a real gripe. Is the way Jacob Fatu was kind of portrayed. Like he lost, and then he couldn't be brought down. He's beating the shit out of everybody, and even when they finally get him down, like he's not out. It's like, how did you beat this guy? You're putting him through tables, you're hitting him with chairs, you're gang beating him, and the dude won't stay down. Like, how on earth did he lose a match? Two, nonetheless, but. I did mention this maybe a few episodes ago where I did kind of see him eventually losing his way into the bloodline. And I'm cool with it. I don't know how it's going to go. Obviously, there's immediate tension with him and the Usos in this faction. Kind of curious to see if that gets smoothed out or if it implodes it. I mean, you got some options there too. So, like I said, light gripe, but that's kind of how I'm feeling on that one.
So if Oba wasn't in this tournament, I would have said put Jacob in there and then have him win it and go up against Roman. Boom, instant rematch.
Yeah,
that's what I would have said.
And honestly, winning King of the Ring would elevate him. I mean, he's another one who kind of seemed like they were putting a rocket on his back, and now he's kind of back to mid card too. I'd say higher mid card, even though because he did just have some 2 world championship matches, so it's hard to say he's back to mid card. I realize, or I want to acknowledge that sounds silly, but he does feel like he's kind of not as big of a deal or not as powerful as he once was, despite everything that happened in between the matches where he looked like Superman. He keeps losing these matches. So, he's in the bloodline. I think that's where he belongs right now. We'll see what they do with him, but I don't know. But like I said, overall, I know I just let out 3 bitches, but overall, I would say my interest level is climbing consistently with this product.
Yeah, I would say it's climbing also. They do have some interesting stuff going on, but I mean, Brock broke down and cried in the middle of the ring. That was our lasting image of Brock, and we're like, wow, this is real. You felt that. Then you just have him come back. It completely negates everything that happened after that. Like you said, it takes away that special moment. So what the fuck was the purpose? I don't understand. And is it that an ego thing? Because Oba didn't need another win over Brock. He didn't need to go into a rubber match to prove that he can beat Brock 2 out of 3 or anything like that. He destroyed Brock. It was over. That was it. He ended Brock at WrestleMania. That was enough. There was I don't know if it was just an ego thing of like, well, Brock's like, well, what if? Or if creative was like, no, we'll bring him back and it'll be great. We'll have to. It was stupid. They should have let him go and then just pushed Oba into the King of the Ring so he can inevitably be the King of the Ring like we know it's going to happen. Because looking at the bracket now, there's nobody that beats him. There's nobody.
Yeah,
Like
that's why
people
Brock's going to have to interfere.
And if he interferes and he hits Oba, then Oba wins and goes on to the finals because of a disqualification. It's not the fatal 4-way. It's a singles match in the next one. So the next 2 matches are singles matches. So he can't actually interfere unless, they do the shenanigans behind the riff's back or whatever. So it's not even like he can overtly interfere the way that Breaker did.
Yeah.
Or even did and stuff, So it's still, it doesn't make any sense. It's like you have him coming in basically being like a butthurt bitch over losing, essentially is what it turns out to be. And I'm like, when I see Brock Lesnar, I don't want to see a hurt ego, butt sore bitch because he lost. I just want to see Brock Lesnar. But that's what I look at now. That's what I see. He can't take a loss after getting utterly destroyed. So he has to come in and do all the underhanded crap or whatever. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it would have made more sense to me if they would have just kind of had a good back and forth build up to their first match. Because the whole thing was so one sided towards Oba that it almost did fall flat. I feel like it didn't really do what I think maybe they thought it was going to do, which could be part of the reason why they're doing this differently now. Maybe this was an audible. I don't know, but I mean, Oba didn't feel that much greater to me. Like then he started doing the open challenges, which I was immediately bored with. I mean, so I do think him taking this loss, like I said, I do think him taking this loss and winning a trilogy that's more evenly matched is going to do more for him than him squashing Brock every step of the way to their first match. So if this was their idea, which I would honestly probably bet it is, even though I'm not sure, I do think that, like I said, for the most part, I just don't like that they had Brock do that big retirement thing. Like I was saying before, I wish they would have just gone about it a little bit differently, and you still could have done the same thing. It just put a bad taste in my mouth. And you can't be like squashing Brock, somebody who's been dominant every step of the way he's been in this company, and then, have fans find it believable. Like I know it's kayfabe, I know we're all on this make-believe train and we all have to be on board, but you have to essentially make me believe,
Yeah. And on that note though, Brock also ran through people when he first got here. We weren't expecting Brock to decimate everybody and build this, career of like absolute destruction and, just completely being one-sided over people, especially in the back end of his career. We weren't expecting that. You don't expect that out of wrestlers. So when somebody like Oba comes in and does that to Brock, yeah, sure. Why isn't it believable? Because Brock did it. So just because Brock did it doesn't mean that somebody else can't do it.
I'll say this. I find it to be a little harder to believe because Oba Femi, like his run in NXT was definitely dominant, absolutely. But he also lost the world title to Ricky Starks, didn't he? Like you can't lose to Ricky Starks for a championship and then have me believe that Brock is, going to be totally manhandled by this guy.
Yeah, but the only reason we saw that is because it's in NXT and NXT's televised now and stuff, right? Like Brock didn't come up in NXT. He came up in OVW, which wasn't on the mainstream out there. So we don't know what he won and lost in OVW as far as, we could go in and Google it and stuff like that, but it's not like it's mainstream right there on streaming that we can go back and watch it like we can with NXT. So
No,
I mean,
you can't.
that
But that is the point. We watched this.
Oba. Yeah, but I mean, Oba's still Oba. You know, he's still 6'3", 310. Like he
Yeah.
legitimately is bigger than Brock. Like tail of the
Oh, yeah,
tape,
he's
Brock
massive.
has like a couple inches on him, but he's a massive human being. You know, he is bigger than Brock Lesnar. So I just it doesn't make any sense. And to me, like your major gripe with this, calling an audible after a tearful retirement moment in the ring at WrestleMania is not the time to call it audible. That was a dipshit move, and whoever made that needs to be relegated back to freaking like
Evolve.
the dark shows or something, man. Like for house shows, that's the creative they need to get. They need to get like not a suspension, but you know they need to get dropped down the ladder a bit because that was a dumbass move. That was a dumbass move.
It was not good. I did not like that.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I look at this and I'm like, cool. If this is the rocket that you're going to put on Oba, and I realize we're talking about Oba a lot here, but I mean, realistically, like, he's the front runner to win the Royal Rumble, or not the Royal Rumble, but the King of the Ring, right? Dom's not going to beat him unless it's an interference kind of thing, and it enrages him, and he just absolutely beats the bloody hell out of Brock Lesnar next time they meet, right? He's not going to beat, or Javon's not going to beat him for damn sure if Javon makes it to the title. And out of LA Knight, Jay, Royce Keys, and Finn Balor, who's left, you know, neither one of that, nobody on that list is going to beat him either. You know, so it realistically, you look at it, and as long as the Dom match doesn't get messed with, Oba's moving on. He just is. He's moving on, and he's going to be the King of the Ring. So if he's doing that and he beats Brock in the rubber match, because you have to, otherwise, why? Brock has no need for that. He has no need to go over in the third match against them, right?
No, there's no way he wins this trilogy.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay, cool. If you're putting the rocket on him, that's a good way to do it, I guess. You beat Brock in the trilogy and you're the King of the Ring. Like, I don't see how you don't give him the belt at that point. But then also, who the hell do you give him? Because they're like, what does he go try to run it back from against Cody from Saturday Night Main Event? Or does he go after the tribal chief? Because at that point, Roman is the only person in the company that looks like he might stand a chance against Oba, you know? But it's like all signs point to this with Oba taking a title at SummerSlam. It just, is it Cody or is it Roman? I don't know.
Well, I mean, when's Brock and Oba set the face? They haven't set that yet, right?
They haven't set that at all yet. Yeah, that's just been United Champions.
So do you happen to know where SummerSlam is?
It's in Minnesota.
That's right. So you know damn well what's going on. Like, Brock is a Minnesota boy.
Like they're gonna waste the King of the Ring like given match on an interference because Brock is that butthurt. You really think that's gonna happen?
Yes. I think that Brock is going to officially retire with this trilogy loss in his hometown. Yes. I do think that that's going to happen. And I will say that I remain okay with it because I'm not going to lie to you. Even though Oba does check all my boxes for an appropriate King of the Ring entrant, I think that he does come off too big for it. Even though he doesn't have the accolades that would disqualify him, in my opinion, in my perfect world. He's going to beat Brock in this trilogy, and he's going to hold a title sooner or later. Like, it's inevitable. Like, he doesn't need the King of the Ring like some of these other guys do, like the LA Knights and maybe Dirty Doms, and like there's a lot of other better candidates to win the King of the Ring that will elevate them more. So I am okay with this, but 100%, I would expect it probably against Dirty Dom, if not probably the round following. He's going to get screwed over by Brock. He's going to lose the match, and then it's going to be those two at SummerSlam. Brock retires in Minnesota.
See that, and then let's be fair. Brock's Canadian now. Okay, that dude like lives in Saskatchewan or something, right? Like he
does
does not
live in
live in the
Canada.
US. Yeah, so like he might have been from there, and I get like people they're gonna claim him and everything like that, but that guy lives out in the freaking northern wilderness now. Like, let's be honest, out there, like, was it Minnesota? Yeah, it's in Minneapolis, right?
Yeah,
Isn't
but
it?
I mean, yeah, but I will also say, because Minnesota is a very similar state to Michigan, this is pretty north, dude. Like we get full winters. Like we're like he's living in Canada, but I don't know if it's much different than when he lived in the states as
No,
far as
I'm just
life.
like the home crowd isn't his. It's his origin crowd, but not his home crowd. If that makes sense, right? That's all I'm saying.
I'd still say it's his hometown crowd. You know, like he moved somewhere else, but most of these guys do. Like
Yeah,
he's still very much like he was an All-American at University of Minnesota. He briefly had a stint with the Vikings, even though he didn't play any games. I'd say he's pretty Minnesota through and through. Grew
okay,
up on a
that's fair.
farm in Minnesota. You know, like he is Minnesota. So I mean, his family, his friends, if he has any, are going to be there. I think that this is definitely going to be Brock's official retirement in front of his hometown. To me, it's clear as day. But like I said, I'm still okay with it. Like I don't like how, like I said, my only gripe really is just how that one flub with the retirement. Like I'm okay with you taking me for a ride. This one was a little too far. You made it real, and then you pulled it away. And like I said, there's situations where that works. This didn't work for me. But other than that, I'm okay with it. Like I said, I think a trilogy win for Oba elevates him. I think that Brock retiring at home is a-okay with me. And I think that somebody besides Oba winning the King of the Ring is absolutely good. Like, who needs it most? It's probably LA Knight, because he's not young. He's been floating in the mid card for far too long. He's over his shit. Like, give it to LA Knight. Like, to me,
I
that's
would love
perfect.
that. Yeah, I would love LA Knight to be King of the Ring. That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, where are you going to fit him in the world title scene? Like, there's no clear path to it. I understand, like, you can make it happen if you really want to, but I think that this is a very clean, organic way to do it for LA Knight. Where, like I said, with Oba Femi, it's not if, it's when. Like, he already feels like a main eventer, like a massive superstar. He's going to get his title shots. He's going to get his titles. He doesn't need this King of the Ring. LA Knight needs this King of the Ring.
It's a big difference in how they're not just how they're presented, but how they carry themselves. Like Oba goes out there and you look at him, you're like, oh yeah, that guy's a multi-time world champion. The guy has been called up for like less than a year. Like what was Royal Rumble, and then he that was it, right? That was his initial was the Royal Rumble. So he's been here like 6 months, and he already feels like a multi-time world champion. It's insane.
He does. Yes, 100%.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why I'm okay with everything except for that one little snippet. But overall, I am okay with this.
So I'm moving on because, like I said, we're pressed.
No, we've hit that in the head pretty good.
Yeah. So Sol Ruca, do you feel like she's ready to be in the position that she's in as the IC champion?
Oh, so I got mixed feelings on this one too, but I don't really have good explanations for it. It doesn't feel like it. It feels too quick. And I like Sol Ruca. What I've seen of her in NXT, I really liked her. I think she's got a super fucking cool finishing move. She's got a cool look. I'm a fan of Sol Ruca. I really am. And I'm happy for her. I think I'm okay with it for the most part because it's a mid-card title. It's the IC title. Her beating Becky to boot is a pretty good quick elevation. I'll say this. I'm cool with it. I like it. But this is the important part. What comes next? Because you just had her fly to like a pretty high level. You know, like you didn't waste any time slow building her. Like she just beat Becky fucking Lynch for the Intercontinental title, which to me still feels like the most important female title by a long shot. So, and
Yeah,
I understand it's not the top one, but to me, it's the central one because it's the one that's most
it's
defended.
the most.
Becky's
Yeah,
held it down and she's elevated it really well. Like we've talked about this a lot over the episodes. I think that this is a big deal for Soul. I'm okay. So yeah, in summary, I'm okay with it as long as they know what they're doing. I don't want them to not have a game plan for after this happened, and then it kind of flounders off, and then the crowd kind of stops caring about her. Like you have to keep running with this, and as long as creative has some sort of plan, I think that it's going to be okay.
yeah. I kind of agree with that. My only problem is that she comes in and she, at least on the big show, feels very green. Like I understand that
Yeah,
she was the women's North American champion down in NXT, and she was tag champ and everything, but she felt like she has botched more than a few times while on the main roster. And Booker T actually said something interesting. He said that he felt that the IC title match at Clash would have gone over well if they had run it back and rehearsed it during some house shows that were not televised, just so they could get used to each other and try out some of the spots ahead of time so they could get the timing down and everything. But instead, apparently the new WWE model is that they're opting to do more less house shows and just more TV time, right? So the
yeah,
new talent
yeah,
coming up doesn't have that safety net to try and practice anymore. They just have to hit the ground running. And I mean, sometimes it works out, right? Like it worked out for Javon. It's been working out for Ethan Page. It for damn sure is working out for Oba. But
yeah,
also sometimes it kind of doesn't, as we saw with Soul. And that's my only thing, is because this is and I agree with you that it's the most prestigious women's title in the company right now. You just gave that to her, and I don't know if she's ready to carry that burden, you know?
yeah. I
So
agree with everything you just said. Yeah.
so
I
it's
and I didn't hear that quote from Booker T, but I do agree. Like they've it's pretty open knowledge, common knowledge that they've cut out a lot of their house shows, a ton of them, like most of them. And I do think that definitely shows in the televised events. You know, they're not as sharp, they're not as familiar. There's not as much chemistry, and yeah, it shows. And I agree. She definitely is coming across much more green because you got to think like even when she was in NXT, you know, she's still working at the Performance Center with all these guys too. So they're building chemistry, you know, just from working out and doing the whole developmental thing together. And
yeah.
not to mention she's also been there for quite a while at this point. So naturally she'd be more
Hmm.
familiar with the other people there. Yeah, so she comes up, the lights are a lot brighter, the stage is bigger. She's working with people she's never worked with. And yeah, I think that you're right. I think that you definitely see some green showing, so a little bit more inexperience. I do think that she'll be fine, just because you know, like I said, we've seen her in NXT. She was a star there, and rightfully so. So I do think that this gets ironed out. But yeah, I agree with you. Like they're definitely, and honestly, maybe subconsciously that's why I was saying I was kind of iffy on it. Like something didn't feel right. That kind of seemed like that was probably it. But I do have faith as long as there's good creative direction moving forward that this will be okay.
Yeah, I think so ultimately too. Like I said, I like her. I think her finisher is badass.
Yeah,
It's obviously it's high risk, so there is the potential for it to not go well, which we've seen. Like she has botched it a few times, but I think she'll do fine overall. My only worry is that they pushed her too far too fast, and that they're not going to know what to do with her once all this ends, and then she just fades into the background and is like, super burnt, like burns bright as hell for a second, and then is, mid card, mid card, mid card, lower mid card, and then finally released, in
yep,
the next couple of years, which I don't want to see. Like it kind of happened. We've seen it happen before, and like you lose on really good talent that way. So I don't know.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. No notes on that one.
So not Danhausen wise, but is the Vision cursed?
It seems like it. It does seem like it.
Right?
I mean, even the guy who I would consider the true leader of the Vision, Paul Heyman, he seems like he's more involved with Brock right now. Now, I mean, he's been present for all the Vision stuff, but that's not like his main focus anymore. It doesn't feel like. So yeah, and they're not as big, they're not as over. I almost feel like maybe they pulled the trigger on them turning on Seth a little too quickly. I don't.
Yeah.
I think we all knew that was going to happen eventually. Probably didn't need to happen when it did. That was pretty damn quick. It felt like it happened, mere months after they became a faction. I think they probably really could have used Seth to elevate these guys for a little bit longer, because, like I said, Braun, and I said this earlier in this episode, Braun felt like he was the next big thing, and now he really doesn't. Like, to me, he feels like, and I know he's still feuding with a future Hall of Famer, but to me, it just doesn't seem. I'm not as interested or enamored by what's going on with Braun anymore.
So look, my point with this is every single member of the Vision has been injured, and that's including Seth. Every single member has been injured with the exception of Paul Heyman, and that's only because he stands ringside. So I'm like, sorry. The only one that hasn't is Austin Theory. That's the only one. Everybody else has literally been sidelined at some point. And that's freaking crazy. The fact that, like you said, Braun feels like a mid-carder now, even though he's going, he's in a current feud with a future Hall of Famer, like he's the tag champion because Logan Paul got injured and that had to de facto go to him. Otherwise, Austin Theory was going to have nothing to do. Like it's been just this round table of, okay, well, put him out there now because the other guys are injured. Oh, thank God one of you came off of injury because one of you just got injured again. It's been crazy. They haven't been able to get any momentum because of it, and they just feel like a sad sack freaking joke faction at this point. It's like the titles, but like whatever. And I mean, Braun looked like that match creatively made him look green. Like he wasn't, not green as in like he just wasn't not ready for the big show or anything like that. It made him look like he was inexperienced in the fact that like Seth basically outsmarted him his whole time, which playing off of the veteran caginess and the ring IQ and everything like that is great for the storyline and stuff. But you just made Braun look silly. You made him look strong. You made him look powerful, but you made him look like his intelligence wasn't there at the level it needed to be in the main event picture.
Right. And we already knew he was strong. We needed to see that he could compete and stand toe to toe in a match against somebody like that.
Exactly. Because if you can't beat Seth, Seth's not going anywhere. You can't beat Seth. You think you're going to beat Roman? You think you're right. Like these things aren't going to happen. You already lost against CM Punk. Like you're going to beat Oba? Like that's not going to happen.
No.
So they need to fix that, dude. They need to fix that and quick. Because if they want to make him a future star, like they need to actually start laying the groundwork like he's able to compete at that level.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I agree with you. It's just it's taken a little bit of a backseat to other things. And like I said, or like you said, rather, they have had some unfortunate, unexpected things. I feel bad for Bronson Reed too, because honestly, the last time he got hurt, he had just joined the Bloodline. Remember? And he was in that big cage match, and he like broke his ankle doing a big jump, and then he was gone so long that they didn't even bring him back to the Bloodline. Like they just had him do other shit because like the Bloodline story had moved too far from that point. So I don't know what his timeline is now, but I hope he comes back soon. Otherwise, he's not going to fit in there either. And every time you give him a portion of a big story and he gets hurt, they're not going to keep doing that because they're going to be afraid to do it. I would be afraid.
Exactly. To do it. Yeah, 100%. I don't blame them at all. Yeah. I like Braun. I like Bronson Reed. Like he has come a long way from when he was just always just another big guy from like Australia or New Zealand or whatever they had him going as, But he was he was okay. It was like, all right, he's a monster, cool, great. But then, he got better. And I enjoy watching him wrestle. Like, I wish he wasn't injured all the damn time because I actually want to see him in the ring. But,
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Like, if he's injury prone, they're going to be less likely to put a world title on him because it's like, what, you're going to put the world title on him and then like 2 weeks later he's going to snap his ankle again?
I mean, this is what happened to Wade Barrett. Like, to me, Wade Barrett should have been a world champion. I think he just kept getting hurt so often that they just didn't have faith that he'd stay healthy enough to do the title storyline justice.
Yeah, 100%. I have to touch on it because I'm gonna have to eat some crow here. I did, for the most part, for the record, I did go up and watch an entire episode of AAA, not the PLE, like just a straight episode. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm a fan. I am a fan of Lucha Libre.
Hey, there you go, buddy. Hey, so real quick though, I will say this in your saving grace, because this made me think a little bit, right? And I know, on your topic, it made me think, because I didn't want to admit it, but like luchadors in WWE were kind of starting to have the same effect on me, and this is what I think it is, because it's the same thing with me and Japanese wrestlers, right? Like, but I love Japanese wrestlers in Japanese promotions, and like a lot of these guys who are luchadors in WWE were in Lucha Underground, which I fucking loved. I think it's just like their culture and their like the culture of wrestling for them, and that their promotions, that it really caters to those cultures. And when you take it out of those cultures and kind of put it in a very overly Americanized thing like WWE, like something feels off. Like it's not a perfect fit. But if you watch them in the promotions that cater to them, it's beautiful. Triple A is awesome. New Japan was awesome. But like for some reason, when you bring these guys in WWE, and part of it's booking, they don't really know how to book these guys. But even when they do try to, something just feels off, like a little different. And there's exceptions to these like rules, so don't at me like, what about this? There's exceptions. There's absolutely exceptions. But for the most part, like when you're in like WWE, like Raw or SmackDown or even NXT, something feels off. But when you watch it in the promotion that it's supposed to be, it's beautiful. And yeah, Triple A is beautiful.
Seeing the crowd react to what was going on and seeing everybody doing it, not just, oh, there's a luchador against somebody, whatever, American wrestler, whatever, right? Like luchador versus luchador versus luchador, and you see them working together and how the match is flowing and how the people are receiving it and stuff. It was different. It absolutely, you hit the nail on the fucking head, man. It was absolutely different, and it made the experience different. And I really was. I was able to see, like, I really appreciated the luchadors they brought up, like, like Rey Fenix, like Penta. Penta is the catalyst for this for me. But bringing up Penta, bringing up Rey Fenix, having Dragon Lee go out there, they were showing me, hey, what happens if I mix in some of the luchador stuff with your American style and still make it make sense to you? I was like, okay, maybe I can get behind this. And then honestly, like Chad Gable coming in and doing the El Grande Americano gimmick was awesome for me, because it's like, holy crap, no, he's like learning and like doing, he's bringing it in and still kind of doing his own thing in there at the same time, like bridging that gap. It piques my interest. I was like, okay, I gotta watch this. And then seeing it on their turf, seeing their style on their turf was just, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah. And I'll even go as far as saying, and I like, it's weird because like I feel like we're doing a double turn here, but like for me, I'm not even that into Phoenix and Penta in WWE. Like for context, again, I bring it up every now and then. I can't help myself. I'm a total mark for Lucha Underground. When it was on, there's no better wrestling show I've ever watched than Lucha Underground. And nobody was a bigger fan of Penta and Rey Fenix in Lucha Underground than me. I loved them. And they were good in TNA too. They couldn't really find their footing in AEW. And now they're in WWE. And I feel like Rey's having a harder time than Penta. Like, Penta's still doing decent enough things, but I'm not that interested in Penta anymore in WWE. I hate to say this, but like, I almost feel like they'd be better suited to, kind of do more AAA stuff, because AAA caters to exactly their style. And that crowd is so invested in these wrestlers and these stories, which sometimes could be over the top and ridiculous, but it just fits their style in their story. And like I said, like when the story's on for luchadors, like it's just perfect. And you can't always do that with, somebody who's not familiar or not in not a luchador style. Like, so I don't know. To me, like I said, it's not intended to sound nationalist at all, but I always feel like I do when I say it. But it's really just wrestling and how certain brands cater to certain cultures, and inevitably can make some things feel right in the story and some things feel off. And I just feel like AAA or any lucha organization just gets it. They just know exactly how to do it proper. And I intend on watching AAA regularly moving forward.
Yeah, you there, dude. It's it sold me. And that mask versus mask match, legitimately, guys, if you have not watched it, go watch that shit. That was one of the
100%.
greatest matches I've ever seen, dude. That was so good. There's so much drama, so much storytelling, and it wasn't all just like, it wasn't like what you would think. It was like, oh, we're all just gonna do tornado DDTs and like planchas off the top rope. And no, it was just absolutely just beautiful. It was beautiful, perfect. Beautiful wrestling. It was perfect. So go back and watch that shit.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was, and I'm gonna be very bold here because it's only June. To me, it's so far match of the year, and it probably it will probably hold match of the year. Like, I don't see anything beating that out. That was
I don't. Yeah, you could put Roman and Oba together and have like Clash of like Titans or something like that. It wouldn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. Like the mask versus mask is a bar that not only have they set that bar, I don't think that anybody's gonna top that. Honestly, it's gonna take some freaking doing to get anywhere close to that. It was so good, and they went for like an hour.
Yeah, and what is
to an hour, dude?
It started off with Chad Gable being super heel and kind of racist and making a mockery of Luchador, to him really kind of owning it. And, whoever El Grande Americano is now, like, he took over the gimmick, and the crowd was so behind him. Like, even his walk-in, like, it just gives you goosebumps, like how these fans could get so invested in two white dudes, like, one American, one from, I don't even know where he's from, Germany or Austria, something like that. Like they went all in on this luchador style, and then they went all in on them, and they went all in on their match. And like I said, like, that's the stuff that gives you goosebumps. That's the stuff that makes it real. Like, that was awesome. And like Michael was saying, I cannot implore you more, if you've not watched this match, to watch this match. It is an important match to have in your memory. Like, it really is. Any wrestling fan should have this match watched, and it was, you won't regret it. I guarantee you. Like, this was just a special match. Matches like this don't happen every year.
Yeah. Okay. I have to run, so I'm going to list off my top 5.
All right. So are we?
No. We'll save it for next time. We'll save it for next time so we can actually talk about it, because there's reasoning behind all of them, and that's what we'll do.
I was gonna say, if you want to, we'll do the tag. Our power ranking all-time tag teams under the WWE umbrella next episode. We will have an episode shorter. It's been unusually busy lately. Things are gonna chill out. We're gonna have more episodes coming out soon, so we'll get back on it.
Exactly. All right. So everyone out there, please go watch Mask versus Mask. And yeah, for all of us here at Make Us Believe, I'm Michael.
I'm John.
Don't stop believing, everyone.